Hey y'all, in this video I'm going to show you how to mount the Picatinny Scope Mount on the Daisy Red Ryder. This is very similar to the little buck rail or for the Daisy Buck 105, except for the way that it mounts is different, obviously, because on the Daisy Buck 105 it has a fixed rear sight post that is non-adjustable. And the Red Ryder has an adjustable rear sight. And it comes with a little wedge that slides under here that you can slide back and forth to adjust the elevation up and down. So I included a feature similar to that on this scope mount, and I made it the whole slotted so that you can slide it back and forth and move the rear sight post up and down and still use the rear sight post if you want that option. That way you don't have to find that little wedge that you removed in here. If you want, you can just throw it out, and you wouldn't need to take the scope mount off in order to go back to fixed sights. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. I include 3 little black washers that you can space this out underneath if you want to. I really don't think it's necessary. I haven't used these on my kids' guns, and it works just fine. But maybe if you have an optic that doesn't have enough adjustment in it, because these don't shoot very far, they're not very powerful, or they're not very powerful, and you need if you're going to shoot from far away, especially if you're mounting a scope or something, you may need a little more elevation adjustment than your optic might give you. And one way to remedy that is by lifting the rear end up a little bit with washers. So I'll go ahead and show you that if that's something that you want to do. But the first thing you'll do is you'll remove. Actually, the first thing you'll do is you'll remove this little ramp that goes under this rear sight. I don't have that piece. I lost it a long time ago for my kid's gun. But yeah. So what you can do is you lift that up and you can just push it forward, and it'll come out the front. Then the next thing you'll do is take out this Phillips screw that goes into the wood stock here. And then next thing is you'll point the ramped part to the front of the gun and lift the rear sight post up, slide that under. Now you'll take these washers. I'm just going to use 2 for this one. If you notice, whenever the screw is screwed down tight, it kind of flattens the sheet metal in the back here, and that makes it to where it is a little lower there. Whenever you go to tighten it down, it is going to want to try to lift it up in the front a little bit. This is so holding it down so tightly though that's really not an issue. But anyways, next thing you'll do is you have to lift up the scope mount and align the washers underneath it, and put the screw through the washers and into the hole. And don't screw this down tightly so that you can make adjustments to it. I'll leave this kind of loose. Leave it loose about like that. And now I'll give you kind of a close-up view. Does that look good in the camera, Emily? Okay, so what you can do is you slide it forward, and you notice that the rear sight post lifted up. Slide it backwards, and the rear sight post goes down. So if you're shooting from a little further away, then you want to push this forward, and if you're shooting up close, then you want to pull it back. And hopefully I provided enough elevation there for you. And I mean, I figure if you're putting a scope on here, it's probably because you want to shoot from a little further away. It's not super accurate, but it is a lot of fun to shoot it with a scope. For my kids, it makes it a lot easier for them to use a red dot rather than the open sights. And this Picatinny rail really lends itself well to the red dots, because it's much more common to find them in 21 millimeter Picatinny. So anyways, for mine, I'm going to have it set for shooting from further away, so I'm going to have it pushed all the way forward and tighten it down. And then this is probably not a necessary step. You can probably turn the video off now if that's all you're looking for, is how to install the scope mount. But I'm going to go ahead and put this red dot back on. But these make it a lot easier for the kids to shoot, for sure. Like, I can start them out shooting at 5 years old. They know how to use a red dot. You just put the red dot on the target and pull the trigger. So I really like these for the kids, and they're a lot of fun with these particular guns. So there you go, that's it. Not a lot to it. Thanks for watching.